I want to talk about this, right? I want to talk about this. See it? 50 years. 50 years, right? I'm 50 years old. So, matter of fact, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. There you go. 50. I'm 50 years old, right? I basically want to talk about that because somebody asked me to do a video on that, basically. So I'm gonna talk about me hitting this milestone of 50 years old. I want to first thank the Alpha Omega, the creating everything that exists in the Almighty, for giving me an opportunity to see 50 years old. And um, thank you so much. Let me tell you something. It has been it has been a journey for me to reaching 50 years old, and the things that I had to overcome, and the things that I had to triumph, and the things that I had to conquer and complete in my life of reaching 50 years old. It was very, very difficult throughout my life and throughout my journey of this 50 years old. It was a lot of hardship. It was not easy. Um, Throughout my life, I've always been working since my 20s. I've always been active and working and upholding a job. I always have done that. And throughout me holding a job, I was plagued with alcohol. I was plagued with cigarettes. I was plagued with the demonic, evil, twisted, barbaric way of life, devil, demon, right? Traumas and depression, anxiety, waking up with cold sweats and everything else, basically. There were some times where I didn't have money and I thought I couldn't get through. There were some times where that um I couldn't pay to get on the bus. I couldn't pay to get on the train. This was like basic stuff. But the Alpha Omega made a way for me to get to work and for me to provide. Now I'm not gonna lie that I had a lot of tough times, man, where I was drinking. Let me tell you something. When I was drinking, I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about nobody. I didn't care about my children. I didn't. I was in and out of these the wild me pens, catching tickets, open containers. There's a lot of things that I was doing that was wrong, and I just was plagued with darkness upon darkness. Even though I had a job, even though I wasn't in the lifestyle, but I was in the lifestyle, but in a different format. I wasn't in the violent lifestyle, but I was in the lifestyle of drinking and alcohol, of being in my people. That wasn't a lifestyle, and they was drinking alcohol, cigarettes, and smoking weed and stuff like that. I would come home from work. Everybody used to be waiting on me. They knew that Austin had a bottle of Hennessy. They know Austin just got paid, and anybody would just basically just come to me. A lot of these guys was hustling, you know, they was hustling in the street, but they still came to me, waiting for cigarettes and waiting for alcohol, and it was like that for a very very long time. It was like that years upon years. But I changed the narrative. I never thought that in a million years I would reach this milestone of 50 years old. I never thought that in a million years. But with the Alpha Omega creating everything in existence, he helped me get through. He helped me reach this milestone of 50 years old. And I want to thank him so much, so much. And before that, I didn't want life. I didn't want my circumstances to catch me without a career job. So I went for MTA. I went for bus operator. Operator. Remember, bus operator is not just given to you; it is earned. And I earned to become a bus operator. I earned to be a city. worker. I earned that. Yes, I did. Because I've been through a lot of things in my life. And to this day, I still cry, you know? And I pray. My father, before he passed away, he knew that the MTA was waiting on me. I was waiting on MTA to call me. And when they called me, my father made the creator forgive him his sins and bless him Jinnah. He was on his deathbed. And, you know, I was telling India, I said, he don't know. She said, yes, he do. He know in spirit that you're about to embark and you're about to really, really get your life intact. Now, don't mind you, prior to that, I had career jobs. I worked for Pepsi Cola, I worked for Coca Cola, I worked for FedEx, I worked for UPS. I worked for all of these major companies, man. I worked for Amazon. I worked for all these major companies, a lot of major companies. That's just to name a few of them. And I just kept my life afloat because during that time, man, jobs wasn't hiring. Jobs was not hiring, and I had to figure out how I was going to get a job. I had to apply for public assistance. I had to get on welfare in order to make ends meet because jobs wasn't hiring like that. I had to get on welfare in order to get a job, and that's exactly what I was doing. I fought the odds and beat the odds. If I could do it, you can do it. You can reach this milestone of 50 years old, man. And it's not that you're old. I'm getting better with time. I'm aging like wine. I know I'm aging like wine. Look at me. Look. Some people say I don't look 50 years old. I still got my hairline, still looking good with the help of the creator. I got a little weight on me, but the most important thing is that when you get to a certain age, you got to make sure that your health is intact. That's why I came on this platform. I was telling everybody, all the fellas, to go get a colonoscopy, to go get your rectum checked out, to go get your colon checked out. You don't know what's dormant inside of you. Do you understand that? You don't know. So I urge all of y'all to go get your colon checked out because you might have something in there that is a killer diller and it's sitting dormant to kill you. And I know a lot of people, a lot of men is scared to get their colon checked out. It had nothing to do with you being gay. It has something to do with your health, brothers and sisters. All of you should go get your colon checked out. That's really, really important. If you want to meet this milestone, 50 years old, make sure that your health is intact. That's the most important thing. The first and foremost, make sure that you believe and worship the Creator, the Alpha, Omega, everything in existence, the Almighty. Give Him His prayers and worship Him. Second, make sure that your health is intact. Make sure that you can still do push-ups. Make sure that you can still, go about life. I'm dealing with a lot of injuries, that happened to me, but that's another story. So, but I'm happy that I have, with the help of the Creator, I met this milestone of 50 years old. I really appreciate it and thank you all of the major platforms that wish me a happy birthday. My birthday was last Friday on the 13th. It was on the 13th, but I wanted to do a video about it of hitting 50 years old. Is no difference. It's just that now you got to plan different. Now each and every act that you do, it has to be with grace and humbleness, and you got to think things through basically because your 50 are golden years basically, so you can reach your 60. It's about maintaining, right, and making sure that you can reach 60 years old. That's what it's about. This is a difficult time right now. So this is a big shout out to all of you for wishing me a happy birthday on my birthday. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And to thank the Almighty for me for reaching this milestone of 50 years old. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Almighty, creating everything in existence. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hello, y'all. Hello. Hello. How you doing? Hello. Hello, I really appreciate. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So here we go again. Yo guys, look, all right? Look at that. 50. Yeah, man. 50 years old. Right? 50. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it wasn't easy getting here. It was difficult getting here because you had to use your mind, body, and soul in order to get here. You have to use your smarts and your intelligence because if you don't, you'll end up in prison and jail for the rest of your life. And there, you'll be 50 years old in jail, walking around with state greens on, facing 10, 20, 30 years to life and never coming home. You'll be doing all your birthdays behind the wall in jail. And I know that I didn't want that life. I wore those shoes and tried those shoes, but those size didn't fit me, and I gave it back to the procreator. That's exactly what I did. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This video is to bring awareness to when you reach your mark, a milestone, 50 years old. I hope and pray that the Creator will give you knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and guidance so that you can be at peace and ease with yourself. Basically, I don't live that ignorant life anymore. I got a freestyle coming out on 7:30. I got a freestyle coming out. Go check that out. It's dope, yo. It's dope. So your guys asked me for the freestyle, and I gave it to you. That was all on top of my thumbs. I mean, off the top of my head. I didn't write nothing down. That's what that came from. This was in my younger days. My name was O. If you know, you know. You know, if you know, you know. Oh, straight like that. So, I appreciate the love. I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Thank you so much. Peace, y'all. Peace. Peace.